The Rafale reinterprets what a larger Renault model should be. This D-segment Coupe-SUV brings style and ingenuity to the business of tempting customers away from premium badged alternatives. It's a tough brief, but this Gallic contender has some genuinely interesting touches.
The Rafale is a larger, more stylish kind of Renault. Here we'll take a closer look at this hybrid contender. In automotive terms, there's not much that's more French than a large Renault, and traditionally France has been just about the only place where you're likely to see such a thing. In this new electrified era though, the Gallic brand has been emboldened to try its hand at a larger segment model once again, and here it is, the Rafale. Unlike some other recent Renault model rivals, it's not a full EV. In fact, most sales will be of a volume hybrid version you can't even plug in. And it's actually not that large, a D-segment model based on the Austral crossover, but styled, like the smaller Arkana, as a coupe SUV. It's certainly a sweeping, quite aerodynamic thing, hence the name, which in French references wind-driven natural energy and aeronautics. The Caudron-Renault Rafale of 1934 was a plane Renault made which flew a record-breaking 277 miles an hour. Nearly a century on, this automotive successor to that design won't set any sales records, but it's a key component in former Renault Group boss Luca de Meo's comprehensive Renaulution model plan. The styling was the work of the brand's ex-design chief Gilles Vidal and was intended to set the styling theme for a whole new generation of Renaults. Now you can find out more about this kind of car by downloading the Car and Driving app. And if you're interested specifically in this Rafale, you'll need to stay with us for the industry's most comprehensive review, the Car and Driving Road Test. Every Rafale uses a 1.2 litre 3-cylinder petrol engine, but this unit comes in two very different flavours. Most models will be sold in full hybrid form, which sees a single 68 horsepower motor driving the front wheels. It sits between the engine and the car's 6-speed auto gearbox, made up of 4 conventional gears with 2 further electric gears. There's also another E-motor with 33 horsepower, but that's there to act as a generator, helping the petrol unit when needed. The drivetrain incorporates a tiny 2 kilowatt-hour battery beneath the driver's seat that allows for very short-range electric driving. And total system output is 200 horsepower, with the engine chiming in 62 miles an hour from rest takes 8.9 seconds. There's a choice of 4 multi-sense driving modes: Eco, Comfort, Sport and Personal. And if you avoid base trim, Renault will include its 4Control 4-wheel steering system, which, in return for an extra 7 kilograms of curb weight, gives the Rafale a tight 10.4 metre turning circle at low speeds and is supposed to improve cornering stability at speeds of up to 31 miles an hour. If you want your Rafale in the hyper-hybrid 4x4 300 horsepower flagship plug-in hybrid form that is being served up here, you get quite a technical CV. This PHEV model uses basically the same drivetrain as the ordinary hybrid Rafale, but adds a turbocharger to the little 1.2 litre engine and pairs the front motor with an extra 132 horsepower electric motor at the rear, so creating the advertised 4x4 system. With all these components added together, there's 300 horsepower. And the drivetrain works with a vastly bigger 22 kilowatt-hour battery pack that you can plug and charge, enough when fully replenished for the car to run on pure battery power for commuting distances of up to 62 miles. When you're feeling frugal, you can exercise 3 EV mode settings: hybrid, electric and e-save. And when you're not, with the engine chiming in 62 miles an hour from rest in this hyper-hybrid takes 6.4 seconds. There's an extra multi-sense driving mode too, Snow. Here we're trying the Rafale Hyper Hybrid 4x4 300 horsepower model in its top Atelier form, in which, guys, it gains specific Alpine tuning for the anti-roll bars, the shock absorbers and the springs, and chassis control, which allows you to adjust the parameters of the car's 4Control 4-wheel steering system via 3 settings: comfort, dynamic and sport. This Atelier model is the only Rafale that comes fitted with adaptive damping. Renault calls it active suspension. 10 engineers apparently spent 3 years developing it, and sure enough, there's real polish to the way this car handles uneven surfaces. This Rafale presents as one of those mid-sized coupe SUV models and was the first car assigned to Renault's ex-styling chief Gilles Vidal. It was supposed to be a clean sheet design, but are we alone in noticing a few similarities with Peugeot's 408? Prior to his stint at Renault, Peugeot was Vidal's previous employer. There's plenty of Renault's latest design language here though, and some rather lovely detailed touches. Forget the really large Renault models you might have grown up with. This is a modestly proportioned segment contender based on a lengthier version of the brand's usual CMF-CD platform. The Rafale is 4,710mm long, 1,860mm wide and 1,610mm tall, though the curved roofline makes it look a little more compact than that, and 17 degrees of windscreen rake adds a sporty touch. The wheels are big, with 20-inch rims fitted to most models and 21 inches on this top Atelier variant. The first thing you'll probably notice though is this unique front grille, fabricated from angled tiles shaped like the Renault badge, which usually seem to move as you view them from differing angles. Almost equally eye-catching is the headlamp signature with its boomerang-shaped daytime running lights. The rear's neat too, with super slim LED tail lamps and italicized Rafale script beneath the central brand diamond. All models get this floating roof spoiler. Annoyingly though, there's no rear wiper. Time to take a look inside, where Renault still hasn't quite succeeded in creating a really premium feeling cabin, but it's a step up from the Austral model interior it's based on, thanks to some extra soft touch surfaces and the use of some quite surprising materials like slate and blackened cork. The enveloping seats are bespoke and quite unique with illuminated elements, and of course there's plenty of screen tech with a 12.3-inch instrument display and a 12-inch central screen which runs Google designed software. A cabin highlight on plusher models like this one is the solar bay panoramic glass roof, which really is huge, 1,470mm by 1,117mm. This actually increases cabin headroom by 29mm here in the front, and uses AmpliSky polymer dispersed liquid crystal tech to darken the glass through 4 settings. These can be voice controlled, and the glass darkens automatically when you step out of the car. The center console has this sliding top, allowing you to prioritize either cup holders or a lower cubby. The glove box is compromised slightly in size by the fuse box, but you get this useful lidded box between the seats and large illuminated door bins, plus an overhead sunglasses compartment with a neat curved mirror so you can check what the kids are doing in the back. The swept back roof line suggests it might be a little cramped in the rear of this car. Let's take a look. Actually, headroom's not too bad, helped by this solar bay glass roof if it's been fitted to your chosen variant, which improves headroom here in the back by 10mm. As a result, there's up to 890mm of headspace, so even 6-foot adults should have space to spare. Thanks to this model's quite lengthy 2.74 metre wheelbase, there's plenty of legroom too, and there's 302 millimetres of rear seat knee radius. What is disappointing though is that this Rafale lacks the sliding bench base that you'd perhaps expect, because it's fitted to the brand's smaller Capture and Symbioz models. But if you avoid base trim, your back seat occupants will get the ingenious rear armrest with storage for tablets, USB outlets and fold-out screen stands. There's seat back pockets, twin USB ports, a nice flat centre tunnel and also overhead reading lights. We'll finish with a look at the luggage area, which will be accessed via this powered tailgate provided you avoid base trim. Boot space is rated at 627 litres for the full hybrid, with an extra 88 litres of underfloor space. With this PHEV model, boot space is rated at 539 litres and there's no underfloor room, which is a problem because the charging leads take up plenty of boot space. With the rear bench folded, the full hybrid offers 1,914 litres, including the underfloor space. With this PHEV variant, the seats fold to reveal up to 1,826 litres. At the time of this test in summer 2025, Renault was pricing this Rafale from just over £37,000 in its base 200 horsepower E-Tech full hybrid form. That's for base Techno trim. Just over £3,000 more gets you the much sportier looking mid-range Techno Esprit Alpine version, while at the time of filming you'd have needed a £42,500 budget for a 200 horsepower model with top iconic Esprit Alpine spec. Here we've chosen to try the faster hyper-hybrid 4x4 300 horsepower PHEV variant, priced from around £43,500 as we filmed, and available in either Techno Esprit Alpine form or this Atelier Alpine guise. So Renault's not frightened to charge serious money for this car, but at least you get plenty of kit across the range. Even base Techno trim gives you sonic 20-inch black diamond cut alloy wheels, shark fin antenna, automatic headlights with automatic high and low beam, LED front signature lighting, Moi effect rear LED lights, and automatic windscreen wipers, plus keyless entry and an alarm. The interior is marked out by a 12.3-inch driver information display and a 12-inch OpenR Link screen with an Archimedes 6-speaker audio system and Google services built in, plus a wireless phone charger. The base equipment list continues with a frameless auto-dimming rear view mirror. You get automatic dual zone air conditioning. There's front and rear one-touch electric windows, a sliding center console armrest, heated electric folding wing mirrors, paddle shift levers for regenerative braking, front and rear park assist, and a rear view camera. Plus, as you'd expect, there's a wide portfolio of advanced driver assistance systems. For the kind of Rafale that Renault really wants to sell you though, you've to avoid base Techno trim and start your search with one of the Alpine badged versions, all of which include the brand's advanced 4Control four-wheel steering system and have a much sharper look inside and out. Now, those variants kick off with a 200 horsepower model featuring mid-level Techno Esprit Alpine trim, which includes Castellet 20-inch black diamond cut alloy wheels with smoked varnishing, Esprit Alpine exterior styling, matrix LED vision headlamps, a powered tailgate and adaptive cruise control. The Techno Esprit Alpine interior gains Esprit Alpine interior styling with Alcantara TEP upholstery, powered front seats with a massage function for the driver, a heated windscreen, a head-up display, and Renault's ingenious swivelling rear armrest. For the real Rafale niceties though, you'll need even plusher iconic Esprit Alpine trim, where the highlight is Renault's desirable huge solar bay panoramic sunroof. Plus this variant also adds a 12-speaker premium Harman Kardon audio system hands-free parking and a 360-degree around view 3D camera. Now this particular top Atelier Alpine hyper-hybrid model comes with large 21-inch chicane black diamond cut wheels, active suspension, and can have a black version of the car's floating spoiler. And it gets specific Alpine tuning for the 4Control system, the anti-roll bars, the shock absorbers and the springs. What about Rafale safety kit provision? Well, there are, of course, all the usual things: an active emergency braking system that recognises pedestrians and cyclists and works at junctions, and a full suite of lane features, including lane departure warning, lane keeping assist, lane change warning, and emergency lane keep assist. There's also blind spot recognition, traffic sign recognition with speed warning, rear cross traffic alert, driver attention alert, and a multi-collision braking system so that if you hit something, the car's less likely to go on and hit something else. Plus, of course, you get all the usual airbags linked to an e-call system. Obviously, not being able to plug the mainstream full hybrid E-Tech version of this Rafale in means it's not going to go very far on battery power. The 2 kWh pack in question is, like most full hybrids, there to cut in and out at low to medium speeds, and obviously does a pretty good job because the combined fuel cycle figure up to 58.9 miles to the gallon is pretty noteworthy, allowing for up to 683 miles of driving range. The CO2 reading, up to 108 grams per kilometre, is even better, nearly class leading in fact. We should probably have expected this. Renault were good at this technology when it was based around the ancient 1.6 litre 4-cylinder engine used in hybrid versions of the Clio, the Captur and the Arkana. Using the same tech with a more modern 1.2 litre unit as the Rafale does was only ever going to yield a good result. Of course, official figures are one thing, actual day-to-day returns are another, and mindful of this, Renault has provided a variety of e-driving tools to enable Rafale E-Tech full hybrid drivers to get as close as possible to the stated readings. All Rafales have an Eco Multisense driving mode, and the PHEV version I'm driving here has 3 electric drive settings, electric, hybrid and e-save, that allows you to save battery charge for later in your trip. As you drive, if you want to drive economically, if you select the power charge meter in the center of the dash, then if you keep the needle in the eco section and towards charge rather than up towards power, you can achieve the most frugal returns. Selecting the full electric drive setting prioritizes battery electric drive up to about 27 miles an hour, providing that there's sufficient charge in the battery. Even if you're in an ordinary self-charging hybrid Rafale, Renault reckons that it should be possible for a Rafale E-Tech full hybrid owner to drive around town at low speeds in all-electric mode for 80% of the time. If you are looking at this hyper-hybrid 4x4 300 horsepower PHEV model, then up to 65 miles of EV range is possible after charging the 22 kWh battery, which from a typical 7.4 kilowatt garage wall box takes 2 hours 55 minutes for a full charge. CO2 returns are rated at up to 12 grams per kilometre when the full battery range is used, but it's 132 grams per kilometre with an empty battery. Fuel returns for the Techno Esprit Alpine version of this hyper-hybrid model are rated at up to 564.9 miles to the gallon on the combined cycle with the battery fully charged, and the car manages up to 48.7 miles to the gallon when just running on its petrol engine. With the bigger 21-inch wheels of this top Atelier version, which drop EV range to 59 miles and the CO2 reading to 15 grams per kilometre, the combined fuel figures are 403.5 miles to the gallon and 44.8 miles to the gallon. Total driving range from a fully charged Rafale PHEV is up to 621 miles, and its benefit-in-kind tax is rated at just 8% compared to 27% for the ordinary full hybrid version. Since most Rafale models cost over £40,000, you'll be saddled with the government's expensive car supplement of £410, which will increase your annual road tax bill to £600. You can't imagine that too many premium brand segment customers are going to throw away their enamel badged key fob to own a Rafale. The few, though, that take a look at what this bigger Renault has to offer might find lots to like here. The looks will get the neighbours talking, the cabin materials are lovely, and the rear seat ambience is far nicer and more spacious than the premium brand norm. There are also things here that you can't get on competitors, like four-wheel steering and the vast solar bay panoramic roof. Previously, none of this would have been enough to overcome customer badge snobbery, but in this more enlightened electrified era, things might be different. Renault is hoping so.